There are two main reasons why most Canadian business owners incorporate their business in Canada: limited liability and tax advantages. So as a shareholder, you have limited liability, which means you and the other shareholders are not responsible for the corporation debts and obligations. Basically, what happens here is that you separate yourself from the corporation because corporations in Canada are considered legal separate entity. Now, reason number two is the corporate tax rates are much lower than the individual tax rates in Canada. Also, you have the option to pay yourself in a salary or dividends to save taxes. So in Canada, you have the option to cooperate federally or provincially. So in both situations, you're able to operate your business in all provinces all over Canada, and you can also sell products or offer services to your customers anywhere in the world. But the main advantage of incorporating federally is that it's going to provide you with more business name protection, which means your business name is going to be registered all over Canada rather than registering provincially, which gives you protection just in that specific province. So in this video, I'll share with you the step-by-step process on how to register and incorporate your business in Canada. So without further ado, let's get into it. The first step is to Google Incorporate in Canada and go to this link that says Federal Incorporation Corporations Canada. So this is the official website of the Government of Canada, and it says federal incorporations offer many benefits, including the right to use your name across Canada, limited liability, lower corporate tax rates, and better access to capital and grants. So before we get started, make sure to go to how to incorporate a business under guides and help and get more information about registering your own corporation. But of course, I already went through this process, and I'm going to click on incorporate at the bottom of this page to get started. So once you sign in and get to this page, you're going to have three different options for your corporation. The basic corporation gives you a numbered name like 1, 2, 3, 4, 8 Canada Inc., and it allows you to choose between a predetermined share structure for one or two classes of shares. This is the quickest and easiest way to incorporate federally because you get articles of incorporation with basic provisions. Now, the custom incorporation gives you the flexibility to tailor your articles of incorporation, which I'm gonna dive into. It allows you to choose a word name of your choice, for example, Chico Hairdressing, or a numbered name. Also, it allows you to create a structure with multiple classes of shares. Finally, we have not-for-profit corporations. It says non-profit corporations do not issue shares, they have members. So if you want more info, you can go ahead and learn more about that. But for today's video, we are going to focus on custom incorporations. So let's select it and click on next. Here we are going to enter our contact information like first name, last name, phone number, and email address. Next, we are going to choose a name for our corporation. As you can see, we have three different options. The first option is a word name. It says propose a new word name of your choice. The name must be as distinct as possible to limit confusion with any existing companies. There is an additional fee of $13.80 for this service. Now, the second option is use your name already approved by Corporations Canada. If you already got your name pre-approved, you should select this one. And finally, numbered, where your company gets a numbered name like 1, 2, 3, 4, 8 Canada Inc. So for the purpose of this video, we are going to select word name and click on next. Here you can decide to have one name in English or French, or two separate names in English and French. So if you live in Quebec, you need to have a French form, but I'm in British Columbia, so I'm gonna go with one name, just English. Here we have to propose our business name. So a business name should have three different parts: a distinct term like your first name or last name, a descriptive term like construction or roofing or consultation or marketing, and a legal element like corporation or incorporated or Inc. So here is a tool that we can go ahead and enter our name and click on search. As you can see, we should confirm which word distinguishes our business name, which in this case is my first name, Ali. We add our name like a made-up name or last name, business activity, which in this case is consulting services. Customers are the general public across Canada. As you can see, after reviewing my search results, it says there is a similar name and it's already active, so we are going to try another name. All right, I replaced my last name with my first name, and it seems we can go ahead and propose this one. The next step is to pay the naming fee, which is $13 $14.80, and once the payment is made, we will get a corporate name receipt by email. Alright, once you're done with your corporate name, the next step is to complete your articles of incorporation. So the first step here is to select your province. As you can see, it says your corporation must have a registered office in Canada. I'm located in Vancouver, British Columbia, so I'm going to select BC. Alright, the next step is description of classes of shares. As you can see, it says an incorporated business must issue at least one class of shares. In this section, you must describe the classes of shares of the incorporation and the maximum number of shares of the corporation is authorized to issue for each class. If there are more than one class of shares, you must specify the right choice privileges, restrictions, and conditions for each. You may choose predefined text that is commonly used to describe either one or two classes of shares, or you may insert your own description. So I'm going to click on information icon to show you exactly what they mean. So one class of shares means that the corporation is authorized to issue unlimited number of common shares. Two classes of shares means that the corporation is authorized to issue an unlimited number of class A, class B shares with the following rights, privileges, and restrictions. So I'm going to select one class of shares and continue. The next step is to put restrictions on share transfers. As you can see, it says putting restrictions on share transfers is not mandatory, but if you want to restrict the transfer of the corporation shares, you must do so here. Choose none if you don't want any restrictions. If you want all transfers of shares to be approved by directors, you may choose a predefined text that is commonly used to require approval of share transfers. You may also insert your own restriction. Please indicate all restrictions on share transfer at this time. Alright, so I'm going to click on tip, and as you can see, it says you may wish to restrict the transfer of shares or securities to prevent the corporation from becoming a reporting issuer or the provincial or territorial security, and to avoid being as a distribution corporation under the CBCA. To do this, choose the predefined text requiring approval of shares transfers in this part. So I'm going to click on information icon next to the previous line to show you exactly what it is. As you can see, it says the right to transfer shares of the corporation shall be restricted, and no shareholder can transfer any shares of the corporation without the approval of directors or shareholders. So that's exactly what I want, so I'm going to select the predefined text for my restrictions and continue. Alright, the next step is to select a minimum and a maximum number of directors for our corporation. As you can see, it says a corporation must have at least one director. Indicate the minimum and the maximum number of directors of your corporation. If you want a fixed number of directors, indicate the same number in each box. So if I open the tip, it says providing a minimum and maximum number of directors rather than a fixed number will offer more flexibility and may help corporation avoid making amendments and paying an extra $200. We are going to leave it as it is, its default, which is minimum 1 and maximum 10, and continue. Alright, the next step is to put restrictions on business activities. It says putting restrictions on the business a corporation may carry is not mandatory, but if you want to restrict the activities of your corporation, you can do it here. Choose none if you don't want any restrictions. You can also insert your own restrictions. So if I click on tip, it says most corporations do not provide any restrictions, and simply select none. If you for some reason want to limit the commercial activities of your company, you could use a text such as this one to complete. So I'm going to select none and continue. In the next step, you can include other provisions. So there are two predefined provisions here. The first one is restrictions on securities transfer, and the second one is borrowing powers of directors. So I'm going to click on information to show you exactly what they mean. So the first one is about the corporation securities. It says the corporation securities shall not be transferred without either the sanction of the majority of directors or shareholders. So I'll definitely select this one. The next provision says the directors of the corporation may time to time borrow money or issue debt obligations. So I'm going to select this one as well and continue. The next step is to add incorporators. It says every corporation must have at least one incorporator. To be an incorporator, an individual must be at least 18 years of age, not bankrupt, and not incapable. So we are going to click on add individual and autofill our information. The next step is to select the effective date of incorporation. So once you select it, click on next. Alright, the next step is to review the information you provided and make sure that they're all correct. You also have to print and sign this PDF and keep it for yourself. And of course, you don't have to send anything to Corporations Canada because they already have these documents. The next step is to enter our office address and add the first board of directors. It says the information provided below is your business corporate information and will be publicly available on Corporations Canada website. This includes the name and address of directors as well as your corporation's registered office address, even if it's a residential address. This is where your corporation must keep its corporate records and where legal documents can be served and will be assumed to have been received by corporation. So once you add your business address, the next step is to add the first board of directors name and address and authorize yourself or other directors like your family members or business partners and click on next. The next step is to review this information and print a PDF and keep it for yourself and document it somewhere safe. I personally document all of my things on Google Drive for the past few years and I highly recommend it. So once you make sure that everything is correct, you can confirm and continue to the next page. This page is about your tax return reminder notice and it says once incorporated, the company will be required to file an annual return every year. This lets CRA know that you're still in business. Corporations Canada automatically sends annual return reminder notices by mail to the corporation and its registered office address or a different address if requested. You can choose to have the reminder notices sent by email instead, which is much better. So this is optional, but I personally prefer to receive emails, so I'll enter my email address and continue. Alright, here it says you must register your corporation in every province where you conduct your business. So if you are in Ontario, make sure to select it. There isn't much here, you just have to fill a short form and give consent. So I'm in Vancouver, British Columbia. I don't have to select any of them here, so I'll continue. Alright, the final step is to pay the incorporation fee, which is 200 Canadian dollars. We also paid $13.80 at the beginning for our business name, which makes it almost $214 in total to incorporate your business in Canada. Once you make the payment, you're going to receive an email from Corporation Canada, which includes your invoice and transaction approval receipt, and you're going to receive another email in a few hours, up to 24 hours, that you have officially incorporated your business in Canada. So after incorporating, your business has a few obligations, but there are three important documents that you're required to keep. The first one is your minute book, which documents transactions. The second one is your annual tax returns and GST HST return. And finally, the third one is your company updates, which is informing Corporation Canada for any changes in your company. So if you found this video helpful, make sure to give it a like and subscribe if you haven't already. And if you have any questions, make sure to comment below and I'll try my best to help you out. Make sure to watch one of these videos next because you don't want to miss them. As always, thanks for watching and see you in the next video.